Hi, I'm Caroline from New Horizon Coaching, career coach and a job search strategist. Now, over the weekend, I received a question from Naomi, and Naomi wrote, Hi Caroline, thank you so much for your last video. I'm actively looking for a new job, and I didn't really know how to write my resume until I saw your video and downloaded your resume template. So I'm in the process of updating my resume, but I'm stuck writing my career statement. Do you have any advice on how to get started and how to get started basically writing my career statement? Now, first of all, a career statement is your unique value proposition to a company. Some call it your career summary, your career profile. It's basically your elevator pitch on your resume. Now, it's about like 10 lines long, and it has a really clear structure to it. And it's really important that you take the time to craft something that's authentic to you, because basically you want that message to resonate with with the reader of your resume, with the hiring manager or the recruiter or the HR, whoever reads your resume first. Now, there are a couple of things that career statement needs to do. And basically, it needs to set a tone of the rest of your resume. So you have to really think about it as a teaser of a great movie. And when you see a teaser for a great movie, it makes you want more to see more of that movie. And that's exactly what you need to do. You have to set the tone. You have to really make clear what the reader can expect. And you have to tease them so that they actually read more of your resume. So the components of a career statement, there are three main components. So the first component is basically telling them who you are, and secondly, you mention what you specialize in, and thirdly, you tell them who you collaborated with within your role, within your career, within the jobs and responsibilities you've had. Now, basically, let me run through all of the three elements, and you do that over 3 paragraphs, and you use that career statement, just on a side note, on three occasions. So the first one is that you use it on your resume, but you also use it on your LinkedIn profile, because it needs to be consistent to basically who you are and what you can bring. And people really check it out to actually see if that matches up. And thirdly, and most importantly, you use that in an interview. You use a different format, of course, it's more verbal communication, but essentially you use the same elements and you use that as an answer to the question, like, tell me a little bit about yourself. It's a perfect way to actually give them a holistic overview of who you are. All right, so back to the 3 elements. So the first one, who you are. Now, for this video purpose, you can keep it very simple. You use your job title, the years of experience, and then you mention the areas that you worked in. So you can say marketing director with 15 years experience in new product launches, business development, and merger and acquisitions. I'm just like giving you an example. So you give like 3 things that they that they can expect. So product launches, business development, and merger and acquisitions. Now, these are not your specializations yet. That's the second part. The first part is the first line, or 2 lines ideally, that actually demonstrates the promise you make to a company about what it is that you can deliver, what it is that you can, what your added value is. So it's very clear to them what they can expect reading further your resume. Now, why a job title? A lot of people struggle with that because they think like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But your job title doesn't have to be your current job title. It can be a combination of all the jobs that you have had, and basically like a combination that demonstrates if you're a commercial director, or you are head of communications, or head of marketing, or head of finance. Like, it can combine all these things in one. So that's the first thing that can happen. So secondly, you also have secondly, you mentioned your specialization. So in your specializations, you can say literally specialized in growing return on investment by direct marketing, by running B2B campaigns, by anything that you actually have that specialization in. So you mentioned what micro skills you have, or micro area you have focused on, so you actually flow from one to another. So you have to imagine your career statement is 10 lines, and in the first paragraph, or in the first line and a half, 2 lines, you make a promise. You say like who you are, how many years experience you have. It's a big picture. Then you go a little bit the next level. Okay, what is required for me to deliver on that big picture? Which micro skills or which areas of focus? Because it's very different if you worked in a big global multinational or in a startup environment, and a lot of people don't communicate that, and they just leave that for people to assume, and it loses a little bit of that value, of that power of a resume, because it doesn't articulate anything. It just like they all look the same basically. So secondly, it's your specialization. Thirdly is who you collaborated with. So for a reader or somebody who screens your resume, it's very good to get an understanding of who you collaborated with on a daily basis. But for you, it's also important to make sure that you get the right level and the right role in the next organization. So if you communicate something like collaborated with senior executive levels, partners and board members, you're going to actually attract the level of role that operates on that area. If you mention, I collaborated with all levels within the organization to understand their needs and really drove and engaged the team to perform the best results, then the message that you basically give is very different in the latter than in the first one. So think about it, what you want to communicate and what your message is going to be, because that's basically what a resume is. It's like your chance, your opportunity to communicate why you're suitable for the role, and what level you're playing, and what your added value is. And it all starts with that career statement, because that sets the tone. If you don't have that, people make assumptions. They say like, oh yeah, you have done this and this, so you would be able to do that. But often that is not what you want to do, and you don't actually guide them to clearly making a statement of what it is that you want to do. Hope that makes sense. Because it makes sense in my head, and sometimes I'm just talking and I forget actually how it all works together. So for you, it's so basically a career statement is that it's you use it in the beginning of your resume. It's your elevator pitch, your career summary, your I call it your career statement, your career profile, and it's basically the promise you make, and you outline that in 3 paragraphs, and it answers 3 distinct questions: who you are, what you specialize in, and who you worked with. Now, there is a 4th element that you actually can include. If you love to manage a team, then that is also a really brilliant moment to express that and to say, like, passionate about building and leading teams to drive results of high performance, or something like that, that you actually make sure you have your big picture view, you have what they can expect, your specializations, your areas of focus, who you collaborated with, and then lastly, that you actually are able to guide a team, to mentor and coach a team to actually perform the results the organization wants. So, Naomi, I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, or if anybody else has any questions that they want me to make a short Facebook Live video of, then please do ask away. I'm here. I have this expertise. I have this knowledge in my head. I would love to share it with you. And it's through these forums that I actually I'm able to spread my word. Now, what I will do also is I will pop a link to my favorite resume template in below this video. I will also, it's a link to my favorite resume template and also a checklist that I use every single time when I review a resume, whether it's good and if all the elements are present, because I know from experience that that actually will help you to get your resume on the yes pile. So I hope this helped, and I look forward to receiving plenty of more questions. So you can write me an email directly. My email address is caroline@newhorizoncoaching.com.au, or you can just pop it below this video, and I will make sure I will come back to you on that one. Thank you very much, and speak to you soon. Bye.